It's like an onion, and then you peel off each layer, and there is another stereotype under it.
Yep. And we didn't understand this. What they were shooting was not us. It was the audience watching the marionette show.
When you see something that it's lifeless but appears to be alive. Sziasztok! We are the Harkels, and you're watching Puppeteers React.
A series where we are puppeteers.
And we react.
Hence the title. Last time we found a weird puppet scene from the Netflix show Ratched that shocked us deeply.
And watching Ratched made us think about all the ways mostly Western media, and I'm talking about film and TV, represents puppetry and all the stereotypes connected to puppets, puppeteers, and so on. So we decided that we will make a Puppeteers React where we collect all the different ways that media might mislead us and what we think about puppetry.
I find it interesting how puppetry is originated in the ancient times, in rituals and magic that became, in the Greek times, a realized art form, something that was beloved, and then through the times it became a tool of entertainment.
Yeah, and in the 1900s, a big shift was that puppetry became an entertaining educational tool for kids. Not only with the Muppet Show, but it was a really significant thing. And I think this is how one of the greatest misconceptions of puppetry is that it's something easy, funny, colorful for kids. For example, I'm thinking about like sock puppets. Like when you think about puppets, you start to do this, and everyone made sock puppets, but it's one of the most primitive ways to make a puppet. Even though there are some great examples around the world for puppet movies and theater pieces made especially for adults, not really a common thing yet.
Yep. Jim Henson was the person who really popularized puppetry for adults. He made some really great movies like The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. And then his son came along, and after some Muppet hits in 2018, decided to deepen the stigma by making a painfully unfunny movie called Happytime Murders. Now I believe there was good intention on his side, but for some reason all the jokes in it are either just actors doing improv or Brian writing jokes that talk to puppeteers who work on shows like Muppets. He even said that this film is filled with what puppeteers do when cameras are not rolling, and that is just not how you make a movie. But anyways, even though it's a god-awful movie, I've decided to show you some clips because Brian Henson knows his stuff, and there are some really good technical solutions in it.
It's a melting pot of people who live together in harmony no matter what color or creed. And why do those people get along so great? Because there's one thing they have in common that lets them put aside the differences and celebrate together.
So how did they do this?
What?
This scene, you have puppets going across the street.
Is it green screen?
Do you mean like green suits? Or
I don't know.
Where is the green screen? Where are the puppeteers?
So I think the light is a bit off because here on the puppet it looks a bit more sharp, on both puppets actually, and on the people not so much.
I tricked you. This first scene is completely CGI, so these puppets are just CGI puppets.
Almost the same.
Felt sure as shit no one else is. And that's my office.
It's strings.
It's a shithole on the edge of Chinatown.
You got it there.
Oh no, he turned around and...
Hey, you fellas. Fancy a dance?
You have this scene with the car, with the street, and without the puppet, and they recorded the puppeteer in a separate place. And then they inserted the puppet into this shot.
Yeah, but was it moved by strings?
No.
It looked like it was
moving from behind.
No, you stupid puppet.
Perhaps
Puppet?
Let's take his eye.
fellas, cut it out!
There's a lot of like you're a puppet kind of jokes in this movie. This is terrible.
So the question is this scene with the dogs and the puppet. Where is the puppeteer? What do you think?
Green suits.
No, I believe there's like two puppeteers holding rods, like big rods,
Yeah.
like fishing rods, and they gently move the puppet, like they try to keep it in that spot. And then you have real dogs who are really hungry for puppets, I guess. The only part of the puppet that is really moving, actually moving, is you can see the legs.
Yeah.
And that's CGI, so you had the upper body of the puppet in this scene.
This movie already had some weirdness in it, and that leads us to the second misconception about puppets, which is that puppets are so weird and creepy and crazy.
It happened to me a few times as a street puppeteer that people came up to me and watched my show and they said, well, that's nice, but puppets are weird. And like, even if they appreciate what they see, they just say they still don't like puppets because they are weird.
Yeah, it's like the way also like racism works. And I'm not saying that all the people that hate puppets are also racist or something, but this is the thing then. If you hate some racial group and you meet someone from that group and you feel like that they are nice people, that you say that, but you're not like the other gypsies or I don't know. So, and this is also another
You're
thing.
not like my other wives.
But this is also something that the clowns get a lot, and we talked about this.
Yeah.
That somehow the misconceptions around puppetry and clowns are in a lot of cases the same. Like also that they are weird and
We should
creepy.
start a puppet clown business. We should only make clown puppets.
No? What?
Just,
Like,
you know,
just to
narrow
freak out more
narrow
people.
our audience
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Do you remember Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
That's some weird stuff.
Yeah, this is something that it's built on the fact that puppets are weird. And they use all the weirdness that you can. Because you can use it cleverly, but you can also use it like, I want to make something weird, let's just put puppets in there. And then you have no thoughts behind it. But this has some thoughts behind it. I mean, look at the details. They made the envelopes, Henson envelopes with all the little red and blue stuff around it and the knives and everything.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get that idea?
I just try to think creatively. Now when you look at this orange, tell me please, what do you see?
It's just a boring old orange.
Maybe to you, but not to me. I see a silly face.
Whoa!
Walking along and smiling at me.
I don't see what you mean.
'Cause you're not thinking creatively.
Relatable.
I can see a frog. I can see a ladder leaning on a log.
Think you're getting the hang of it now. Using your minds to have a good time.
I might paint a picture of a clown.
Whoa there, friend, you might need to slow down.
Now the crazy comes. I love it.
Go and collect some leaves and sticks and arrange them into your favorite colour.
Blue.
Red.
Green.
Green is not a creative colour.
I think if it's represented only in this way or that way and there's no
Yeah,
balance, that's where the problem
it's
comes.
about balance. It's about how popular something becomes. Like, for example, the Strings movie. It's not so popular, but it should be. And like the other thing that we talked about.
Go watch Strings.
We will just fill the description with lots of stuff for you to watch, and then for a month you don't have to think about what you want to watch. Just come here, read the description, and choose something. Yeah, but the other thing that we talked about, that there are a lot of beloved puppets in movies, but we don't think about them like puppets.
Yeah.
For example, E.T. Yeah, I mean, it was robotic, but
and it was scary as
Yeah, some scenes there. Wolf.
Or Yoda. Baby Yoda, yeah.
And Yoda and all the Star Wars characters.
Yes, Star Wars is filled with them.
But we don't think about them as, oh, that is such a great puppetry, but we love them.
Yeah.
And we think about them or like the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
And those things. And these are puppets as well, but when something is good puppetry, you don't necessarily think that it's puppetry, because its rule is not to represent a puppet. Its job is to represent Baby Yoda, for example. But in many cases, when puppetry is misrepresented, it shows that these are puppets, and puppets are weird, or easy, or childish, or creepy, or scary even. And that leads us to horror, and how much horror uses puppets as creepy, haunting things. Sigmund Freud said that this uncanny, in German unheimlich, feeling is when you see something that it's lifeless but appears to be alive. And it's also evolutionary. One part of our brain reacts to something that appears alive, but then it's not breathing, and then it makes you think about, like, it makes your brain think about that, okay, if it's not breathing, maybe it's dead, so it's a zombie, or it should have some disease, or someone killed it. There is Russell Dean, and he has a TED Talk about this, how the rational and emotional brain parts react when they see a puppet. So if you want to hear someone more educated or clever in this research field, you should go there and check it out.
Evolutionary speaking, your instinct is that you want to survive, and if there is a chance that there can be something in the dark, or that thing can be alive, you don't take that chance. You just go away and you survive, even if there was nothing. You know, when you hear something in the bushes, it might just be the wind, but your brain is like, it could be a wolf, so I just go away. And it's weird, because this doll could be something that is possessed by a demon. So I just go.
Anything could be, actually. Yeah.
But the most mind-boggling thing about misrepresentation, the way puppeteers are represented.
Puppeteers are weird, but in a funny, goofy way.
Yeah.
Look, there's a street performer trying to get people to dance with his marionette outside our shop.
There's no way a street performer would perform in a mall, first of all. Second, they would never block an entrance.
Hi, how are you? We own this cupcake.
Not while he's dancing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to wait?
Oh, this dude's a serial killer.
Yeah, we are.
Do you want me to...
Oh, I am not drunk enough for this. I've never been drunk enough for this.
Is Jay Pedo home?
We should do this.
His name is J. Pedo.
Yeah. We should do this when people come here that we don't want to meet.
Which is Geppetto, but also it's J. Pedo. You got the joke?
Yeah, and it's not funny.
Because he's pedo.
Yeah, I'm not suing you for my shattered arm and hip. It's for Pierre's.
This is not weird at all. For me, the weird thing is that the characters say that it's a weird place and they fear and they feel weird in this place, but it's not.
Our place is filled with puppet, like literally like this one that you cannot just go through the door.
But this is absurd. You can't sue us because your puppet broke.
Yes, I can. This puppet is my livelihood, and he's heavily insured.
That is so cool. What is it?
It's a puppet. Welcome. I am Franz Gutentag, and this is my puppet shop.
It's like an onion, and then you peel off each layer, and there is another stereotype under it.
So what do you think about the control?
Ah, that is a work in progress. It is waiting to become anything we wish it to be. My name is Chris, and I like candy and jumping on colorful birds.
Yeah, and it's not possible, of course. Yeah. And also the crosses are like a very basic.
Yeah, the plain crosses are just.
Like, these are the things that you buy at souvenir shops, and then you don't understand why you cannot move them when you go home, because all they can do is like something like this, because they have 4 strings and a cross. Physics. We don't care about them.
I'm a vampire, and I'm in love with this unattractive girl. I'm a werewolf, and I am also in love with this unattractive girl. The end.
Bravo, Chris! You have really tapped into the wonder and enchantment that is puppetry.
Plus, I move these dolls and make like they're talking.
Yes, right.
It's drawn better than most of the puppet tattoos.
Yeah, it looks like...
It looks like a puppet.
It looks like they took time to, you know...
No offense for the people who have basic puppet tattoos.
So I think this is a mentality that you can see many times when when a producer or a director comes up with the idea of inserting puppetry into their work.
We reached out to Greg and Kristin, the puppet creators behind the Ratched puppet scene.
I'm Greg Ballora. I've been a puppeteer since college, and then I married her, which was good too.
I'm Kristen Charney Ballora, but I use Charney when I work.
So to talk about the shoot, I had worked with the director of that episode about, I'd say 10 years before. She contacted me and said, hey, would you please come work on this episode? We've got these marionettes. And I was working another job and I said, I can't do it. I'm sorry. And actually it wasn't even her, it was the assistant director said, well, just come to a production meeting to help us figure it out. Just to help us figure it out. I'm like, I'll come talk to you, sure. And I walk in and they immediately start asking me, so when we get to shoot this, how are you going to do this part? And I was like, I haven't even seen a script. I don't know what you're talking about. So originally there were going to be like 6 marionettes, and then it turned into like 10, and it ended up being more like 16 because we needed multiples.
Because wasn't it the costumes?
Yeah, the schedule of this was so weird. What happened was we originally had this very, very brief period of time. It was like 3 weeks. We had to do all the marionettes, and they had to be costumed to match what the children had been wearing in the film that they had shot already. We shot for a day, and we didn't understand this. What they were shooting was not us. It was the audience watching the marionette show. That was what they're going to start with. The director basically said, just do the whole story so that they can respond to it. It was like, what? We can't do the whole story like at once.
We didn't know what we were doing.
And it was like, well, just do your best. And I like huddled with the team backstage, and we, spent 5 minutes trying to figure out what we could do.
Sarah Paulson, who plays Nurse Ratched, she did that big emotional outburst, and she needed us to give her something so that she could have this horrible meltdown. And we were just going, we didn't know how to. So Greg kind of had to cobble something together to give her something to have this horrible high, super high reaction.
Yeah. Well, we were doing like the worst possible puppet show, but it's still violent and terrible. And there are children there.
The other thing that was going on, another layer of stuff that was going on, we ended up having to be on camera. And so they costumed us in period costume. At first, they gave me these 1940s heels to work in, and I'm climbing up on a bridge and on the floor stringing something. I'm like, I can't work like this. The puppets were problematic for several reasons, but I remember practicing walking endlessly, and I had some beautiful takes, and the falling down and the weeping, and then I see they pick a shot where we're kind of doing the marionette, twist around, and you just go, why did they use that?
It's a funny thing though, because the editor is not a puppeteer, so they're probably in a better position to know what the average audience thinks of things, rather than, our puppeteer brains, where we analyze the puppetry and forget about those stupid meet human actor things because they're just an annoyance, right? It's so tricky though when you're trying to, on film, recreate a live performance, but you're still judging it by film or television standards where nothing can go wrong. Whereas in a live show, something goes wrong, it goes wrong, and then you move on and everybody's fine with that, because that's what happens in live shows, and that's why you like going to live theater.
And it disappears after that.
Yeah, and it goes away and nobody sees it again.
It doesn't follow you around for the rest of your life.
We had to butcher the full interview down, really, because it was over an hour. Yeah. We've decided to release the full thing next week. You click on the notification so you won't miss. We talked about so many things. It was so great. We really didn't have to ask anything because Chris.
They were just talking.
Yeah, Greg is awesome to listen to. He's really awesome, and we talk about everything:
like
studio
X-Files,
interference, Netflix,
how they work, weird shooting experiences that puppeteers do, and
injuries.
Yeah.
We read your comments, so tell us what you'd like us to talk about next time. There will be a next time. We don't know yet when.
Do you think there is something that we missed out on puppetry and how movies build a misconception around it?
What do you hate about puppets and puppeteers?
Why do you hate our work?
Napsugár, everybody.
This is what he's living with. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Szerintem ez mindegy.